just because I don't want to jinx this team. I might jinx your team. I'm the jinxer right now, and I really have the power in my hands. So you better hope I have a change of heart.
Listen, man, either way, it ain't going to change the outcome.
Here we go, Miami.
You're very excited about this hire. I
this.
think Dolphins fans across the world are excited about this hire. They hired Mike McDaniel, and I didn't know this, but he's biracial. So that's awesome that we're getting some more minority coaches in the NFL, even though people are questioning his blackness right now on Twitter, because they did get some compensatory picks, and people are having an argument about that. But neither here or there. He's part of the Kyle Shanahan tree, Mike Shanahan tree. They've had a lot of success in the past, and I sent you guys the video of Mike McDaniel FaceTiming Tua, and he said, we're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man, and one thing I know about you is you have the ambition to be great. My job is to coach you, to get all that greatness out of you, and it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be work, but I know you're not afraid of that. So this is an awesome day for me, and I'm damn sure going to make sure that when you look back on this day, you're going to be like, damn, that was one of the best days of my career too, okay? But I'll earn that from you. You got me. He then turned to the camera and said, since you can't hear him, he's telling me how excited he is that there's no other coach he'd rather play for in the entire world, which I thought was nice since that's the first time I really talked to him. Little jokes right there, but it seems like this is a great thing for the Dolphins. I mean, the fan base is excited. Drew, I sent you it and you replied back to my message and you said, that's my coach with a period. And I think based on our last segment, you have a tendency to, when you really like a quarterback, over exhaust them a little bit and kind of overrate them a bit.
Me?
So I'm very curious.
Better than Joe Burrow.
I'm very curious to see.
One day. Who knows?
I'm very curious to
I have a
see
whole
how
career.
you feel about this hire right now. Tell Dolphins fans how you feel because you are the Finn family guy.
Finn fam. We got a decent one here. I like the hire a lot. Mike McDaniel has been in the works, becoming a head coach, been under the tree of Shanahan for a while. Shanahan, one of his main guys in the Niners system right now. And now he's getting this opportunity after 1 year of being an offensive coordinator, gets the call up to the big leagues, becoming the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I love it. I wanted Tua to be with a offensive-minded guy, and you're bringing in a guy who his emphasis is the run game. And Miami was third to last in total rush yards per game. Now, I think they're going to have to bring in new personnel. Personally, they had Duke Johnson towards the end of the season. He definitely had some success. Myles Gaskin's not it by any means. Something interesting could happen where Saquon Barkley becomes available and Saquon Barkley comes into this backfield, and then things could get interesting. Now, back to McDaniels coming in to work with Tua. I love immediately the fact that he's reaching out to his starting quarterback because there's no controversy. Tua is going to be the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Should be no other way. You have a ton of cap space. You have enough to bring in a left tackle. The Saints offensive lineman that's a free agent. Armstead, thank you. He is a potential top candidate to come to Miami, which is huge. Come in and cover that blind spot that Jesse Davis has absolutely no business doing for Tua Tagovailoa. You bring in Mike McDaniel now that is going to instill confidence that Brian Flores did not. And it's not three people now that Tua has to answer to or get play calls from or get advice from. It's one person or your offensive coordinator will definitely. Exactly. But now you have one guy that is going to, when the defense is on the field, be working with you. Hey, did this wrong. All right. Not here. You got to get it together. Put it like you step up or we're going to lose, essentially. It's not anything more forward, whereas it's a different vibe now with Mike McDaniels coming in. You see it in his pressers. You see it in these little videos that Miami's been dropping lately. He is I don't want to say people pleaser. That's not the word I'm looking for. He's a personable guy. He's more of a modern guy. And that's something in the NFL that I really look forward, especially with the different attitudes in the NFL. I feel like an attitude like this is more shaped for team chemistry. And there's no one that right now that I would have liked better to come work with Tua at this point in his career.
Is Tua going to have a breakout season?
You're asking the wrong person because I understand his skill set. I understand what he can be when put in a great situation. 100%. You have
define breakout.
Give me a number.
Because right now they have him as the bottom 5 quarterbacks in the league, right?
He had 16 touchdowns to 10 picks last season. So number wise, what do you think he has?
So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Given the fact that his offensive line was abysmal, given the fact that his run game was third to last, I would say it is a strong possibility that we could see Tua break into that 13 to 15 range.
Okay. So we're talking Kirk Cousins tier, we just discussed at length.
And I do believe that that's a possibility. And that's one season. Now, it's going to take 2 for me. I always say it's 2 years in a system for it to really be ingrained in some memory. We saw with Allen Robinson. We saw it with the Falcons and Shanahan. That second year really allows a team to adjust and understand what they're going for on the football field. I still expect Tua to play well as long as they address the offensive line. Saquon Barkley is a pipe dream. I don't know what's going to happen. That's just me just throwing garbage out there. But there is possibility that the Giants do not bring Saquon Barkley back. There are reports that Barkley and James Bradbury might not return. So if Saquon Barkley, who has been one of the best running back prospects, best running back talents there are in the NFL with potential, you bring him in a situation like this where Tua is more likely to dump off to the running back, allow him to make plays happen, it'll open up more down the field. You need to address the offensive line. It's going to be interesting to see where their money goes. I would love to bring in Armstead. I would love for them to draft another offensive lineman. And I would absolutely love to see one of these wide receiver options come to Miami as well, whether it be an Allen Robinson. I'll start from the bottom so everyone's not thinking that, I immediately want Devontae Adams. I immediately want Chris Godwin. Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams. One of these guys
Cedric
would
Wilson.
I wouldn't mind a Cedric. Michael Gallup.
He's a baller.
He is a
Cedric is
baller. Michael Gallup coming off the torn ACL is unfortunately. Braxton Berrios is an interesting dude. Very interesting.
Very Jakeem Grant-esque.
Yeah.
He really is. And I'm a fan of Jakeem Grant.
You might be his number 1 fan.
I might be his only fan. Outside of his parents. That being said, I like it. I love the direction that they're going. As long as you're trying to cater to the starting quarterback, the guy that you selected number 5 overall, put him in a better situation than what you did in this past season, where he already showed you he could get wins with one of the worst situation. It's only up from here.
This might be my favorite hire of the offseason. And I'm sick because my 2 favorite hires are Dable to the Giants and McDaniel to Miami. Being a Jets fan, the Giants and Miami aren't really 2 teams I root for. But I feel like if you fire Flores, you have to go bold, right? You fired a really good coach. So you need to go out there, and you can't hire just a whatever type of guy. McDaniel is, you're shooting for the moon, right? You think he could come in and he could be the next Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, someone who could really turn around this offense and make them a powerhouse. That's what they're telling me by bringing in McDaniel, right? He's someone who is obviously a progressive thinker, offensive-minded, extremely young. He went to Yale. He's a very smart guy. And I'm sick because I think Miami has a really bright future ahead of them. And he's going to be someone who, you mentioned it, players love. Kyle Juszczyk mentioned how he's like the best coach he's ever been around. George Kittle has joked saying that I want language in my contract saying that McDaniel can't leave. And that's not even just in the Niners. Pierre Garçon even talked about him in his time in Washington, saying that he's one of the smartest coaches he's ever been around. So this is someone who has been to multiple places. He's really followed Shanahan around at almost all of his stops. And wherever he goes, players tend to, gravitate towards him. And he seems like a very relatable person, like Drew mentioned. And he's, once again, someone who is the opposite of Brian Flores. Flores could be known as not showing as much emotion, being prickly at times, not having a great reported great relationship with Tua, whether that's true or not, who really knows. But McDaniel's going to come in his first job, like he did, FaceTime Tua. He has to be his right-hand man. He's going to have to build an offense around him that's going to, thrive on the RPO and the run game. And Drew mentioned that they need, personnel upgrades, and I definitely agree. But I think what's important is that from 2018 to 2021, The 49ers were always in the top half of the league in rushing, and every year they had a different running back do it. 2018, it was Matt Breida. 19 was Mostert. 2020 was Jeff Wilson. 2021 was Elijah Mitchell. So it was a rotating back.
Debo Smith.
Debo Samuel too. And so it was a rotating backfield. None of these guys are someone you're paying a lot of money to. You're not drafting any of these guys highly. Mostert, Mitchell, they're 6'7", Jeff Wilson, all of these guys are people that you don't have to spend premium draft capital on. So that tells me that it doesn't matter who the running back is. He's going to be able to come in and make it work. Now, obviously the Niners offensive line is a ton better than what the Miami Dolphins line is looking like right now, but the Dolphins have the assets and the cap space to go out and make a big move. I don't know if Armstead is going to be the guy, because he's going to have plenty of teams that want to come out and come after him. He's probably one of the best free agents out there, right up there with Tay and Brandon Scherf. So he would be their Trent Williams almost of this offensive line, be able to come in and be automatically one of the best tackles in the NFL. And while I do love this move, they still have to do, there is some personnel issues that they have to adjust. McDaniel's not going to be able to come in and just overhaul everything and turn Devontae Parker and, Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson and all these guys.
Grant's not on the squad
He's on the Bears.
Facts.
But regardless, all of these whatever type guys into elite weapons. They're whatever type guys.
Devontae Parker's not whatever.
They're whatever.
You've been telling him you saying he's whatever all year.
No, he gets me upset. He's not whatever.
Jalen Waddle, though, you should be ecstatic.
Generational.
Because, he's someone who has the ability, and very similar to Debo, that he is just electric with the ball in his hands. They already used him this past season out of the backfield. Not as much rushing, but just routes out of the backfield. 100% I could see McDaniel coming in, having just play after play after play specifically for Waddle to get the ball in his hands, because without a doubt, he's their most explosive player. And even if they bring in another player, it's going to be really hard to find someone better than Jalen Waddle. So will he have a breakout season? I'm not sure. I got to see first who I'll have an answer before the season starts. 100%. But I got to see who they bring in, how they upgrade the offensive line, where they're going out with their wide receivers, what happens with Gesicki. There's a lot of moving pieces here, but bringing in McDaniel, this is a great start. This is right up there with Brian Dable as my favorite hires of the offseason. It's potential for a home run. And, he's a funny guy. He's someone who you could relate to at the press conferences. He just seems like a dude who's like sitting on the couch, loves to play Madden, just obsessed with football, but he's just one of the smartest minds in the NFL who went to Yale, understands everything that goes into it. So Miami fans, I would be ecstatic.
And before you give your 2 cents, I say 13 to 15 right as it stands right now. If the offseason goes according to plan. Oh my goodness. We'll see. It's a wait and see for me.
God.
It's a wait and see for me.
I want to give a shout out to the Dolphins social media team. I think they've done a great job at hyping this
Marketing
up.
him. Mm-hmm.
Not just marketing him, but marketing Tua as like this face of the franchise quarterback as well. They've done
watch
an exceptional
your
job.
Watch your next word. What are you going to say?
They've done an exceptional job.
Finn family's watching.
Oh, I know.
Got the Finn's colors on kind of too.
Yeah, right.
Orange,
South Florida.
blue.
It was in
Yeah.
Hard Rock.
Mike McDaniel was a very good hire. And I'm not going to act like he wasn't a good hire. I know he was a good hire. I respect the coaching tree he's come from. He's been the run game coordinator for the 49ers for years now, and we know their specialty is the run. When the Jets first assembled their staff and it was known that Mike LaFleur was our OC and not McDaniel, we kind of got the short end of the stick, because we're like, we got the pass game coordinator, not the run game coordinator, and we knew that McDaniel was really the prize in that. The Dolphins got a great one, and I said it even when they fired Flores. Firing Flores won't matter ultimately if Tua becomes a franchise guy, or if they get the head coach right, frankly. And I think there's a possibility that both can happen.
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely taken aback.
I still do think Tua is like a Jimmy G guy. That being said, I don't think Jimmy G's horrible. I think he gets the short end of the stick a lot of the times too.
I agree.
Terrible.
Tua this past season completed 68% of his passes, had 16 touchdowns, 10 picks, but played in 13 games. So had he played in 17, he probably has over 20 touchdowns. Maybe,
13.
He has some stinkers and has like 20 picks as well.
Oh my God.
So rude.
I don't know. It could be that. Now I'm playing. But I thought this was a great hire. It's important to note that McDaniel, with every quarterback he's worked with, has had a breakout year. RG3, Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub, Jake Plummer, Jimmy Garoppolo. So it shows that he can bring the best out of average quarterbacks. And like Jake Plummer, Schaub,
Bronco
Jimmy
legend, by the way.
Garoppolo, outside of Matt Ryan, these guys are kind of mid. So, Tua, maybe he can have this, upper echelon season maybe once or twice. Who knows?
You're lucky I like Zach Wilson, man. You're lucky.
In this offensive system, it brings out the best in quarterbacks. And I think it can bring out the best of Tua. Obviously, you have to really cater to his strengths, so RPO, short passes. But even last year, Tua on 20-plus yards, on 20-plus yard passes, his on-target percentage was 69.6 and 55.2 adjusted completion percentage.
He's trying to get into Finn family's good grace. So I'll tell you what, it's making me happy. It's making me happy. This is the first time he's ever not absolutely taken a dookie on Tua.
I love, because I really do love this hire.
I do too, man. I do too.
With that being said, this roster needs a massive overhaul.
No doubt.
Because the personnel as it currently stands just doesn't fit.
Agreed.
Devontae Parker, I don't think is a good scheme fit. You mentioned Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's gone. He can't block. And in this offense, your tight end needs to be able to block. He is gone. They're going to replace him maybe with a David Njoku. Dalton Schultz wouldn't be too bad. They need a run block.
Going there.
They need a run blocker, and Mike Gesicki is anything but that. He doesn't even line up as a tight end like 90% of the time. So I think he's gone. Jalen Waddle's that one that he's going to be a star receiver in this league.
Without
he
doubt.
is going to be a mainstay. And you mentioned Teron Armstead. I think if they get him, that would be an amazing signing. They need depth. They need just a good offensive line. Right now, they're abysmal. They were the worst ranked offensive line in the NFL. I don't think we're going to see the results of this hire this season.
Agreed.
Unless they, in the offseason, they make moves that are like, okay, now this roster has a massive overhaul. But McDaniel ultimately took this job because he thinks he can win with Tua. And I've said it before. I've never said you can't win with Tua. That has never come out of my mouth.
I can't with you, man.
And Joel, you can vouch for me. Have I ever said you can't win with Tua?
No,
I've never said that.
He just thinks he's an average guy.
And you said he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
I mean, at one point.
You said this can win with Tua.
At when? Wait,
after the game against the Titans, you said he's a bottom tier quarterback.
He had a bad game against the Titans.
Overreaction. That's what it was.
No, because you told me, you're like, bro, watch the game. It wasn't that bad.
It really wasn't.
And I went in and watched, and I was like,
it was raining.
It was bad. No, it was bad. That was raining. Bad game. That was a bad game.
And they didn't prepare for it. It was disgusting.
Bro, you can't give me you didn't prepare for rain as an excuse.
And you know what? You know what they did when it rained that next week in Miami?
When it didn't matter?
Unfortunately. They beat a division rival.
Great win.
And the Patriots that already had a playoff lock.
I don't think I said Tua was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
You did. You said
no.
He was
No. It's not that. You didn't call him one of the worst. You just created a quarterback tiers list and you put him in the tier with the Daniel Jones and stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him to be my franchise guy. I think he's a limited quarterback.
Is Zach Wilson in that tier?
Hell no. He was in a different tier because he hadn't played enough.
All right, so is Tua still in that tier?
Yeah.
All right, is Zach Wilson in that tier?
This is the tier I made like a month ago.
Okay, I understand.
I had basically the entire draft class from last year in that tier. Because like they played one season.
Right, the season's over now. All right, it's over. Regular season's over.
Okay, we have to see one more year out of all these guys.
Exactly. But I would rather have Zach than
I'd rather have Zach than Tua right now.
Tier.
All right, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, Zach's clearly a more talented quarterback. I think that's clear. I think if you watch Zach Wilson and Tua play, I don't think it's.
I mean, there's some people that believe that Zach Wilson isn't even a top 3 quarterback in this class.
I understand
that. Is it that clear then?
I think it's, if you're talking straight talents, what can Zach do at his peak versus what can Tua do at his peak?
Tua might not be a top 3 quarterback in this class.
Are you going to say Davis Mills, bro?
Jordan Love?
No. I'm talking about in his class.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Yeah. Are you saying Jordan Love?
No, Hurts. He had a better year.
You know, I'm a Hurts guy. We're not getting to that. But no, I mean, I wouldn't.
Because he knows, brother. He knows.
I wouldn't want Tua to be my franchise guy.
All right, I'm glad you feel that way. Look, because when he becomes the franchise guy, and I'm here doing lap after lap after lap, giggling.
When he has 300 yards on like 5 yards per attempt.
You know what's funny is that you were doing that this year when they went on that win streak.
It was awesome.
And then you came in week 18 after they lost to the Titans.
Their first loss in 8 weeks. I wasn't
because he had a stinker.
He did have a stinker, but the team had a stinker. overall. They scored 3 points. They gave up over 30.
I mean,
And most of that was due to quarterback play.
Not most of it. The defense played like garb.
with 3 points that's under the defense.
Oh, no, agreed. But
It was
giving
turnovers
30,
in that game that put the Titans in perfect field
Again,
position.
it was raining. They did not prepare for a rainy
But
game.
what does that even mean?
Well, they weren't ready for it for whatever reason.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I've never said you can't win with Tua. You can win with him, but he's just somebody that I just
He's a guy.
He's like middle of the pack. That's what he is. He's middle of the pack. You think
That's
he's
fine.
Drew Brees?
That's fine.
And maybe actually you have given me some clarity on the debate we had earlier. The fact that you can't grasp the concept of Burrow being better than Stafford is because you're still holding on to the idea that Tua might be better than Burrow one day.
That has nothing to do with anything. That has nothing to do with anything.
I mean, you obviously have something against Burrow.
I hold bias aside in every conversation I have. That's a fact.
Okay.
That being said, am I holding on to him being one day better than Burrow? Sure. Am I taking anything away from Burrow and what he's doing because of that? Absolutely not.
You're
I
taking
feel
Tua
like-
over Zach?
I am.
I feel like if I had asked you, can Tua be better than Stafford one day, you would have just brushed off that question.
And said no.
But he could be better than Burrow or
It's
past
early. It's way too early.
I'm just saying, are we past that?
Can
'Cause
we
listen,
wait, man? It's enough.
No, we should already be past that. Like, it's not going to happen.
Because if you're like adamant, like, no way he's better than Stafford, I don't know if you'd be like, he might be better than Burrow. Like, Burrow and Stafford
Staffy's
are neck
done it
and
for
neck.
years, man. He's done it for years. At this point in time, it's clear Burrow's better than Tua. We have a long ways ahead of us.
There's
a
not
long way.
There's just not
It's just-
many
there's no-
quarterbacks who are clearly better year two and then just fall off a cliff.
Listen, Big Ben won a championship in year 2. And,
Big Ben's a
people-
Hall of Famer. He's had great seasons.
All right, and
Here,
Jo- and-
like,
and
what are we
Joe-
talking about?
Part of the best big three in football offensively.
Yeah, like that
Again.
was way after he won a Super Bowl.
Okay, you guys just are so quick trigger. You don't let me finish. Ben won a Super Bowl in year 2. It looked chopped for Eli Manning. Eli went in to win 2 more.
I don't think anybody doubts Big Ben's better than Eli, though.
I agree, but I'm saying there's never been there's been moments where Eli would at least push that envelope and say, I might be better than Big Ben. There's been moments. I'm saying
I just see
there's
talent
possibilities.
Gap. I just see a talent gap between them.
You know what's the difference?
Actually, in what way?
I don't think Tua has a really good arm. I don't think he's that mobile.
And do you think Joe Burrow has a great arm?
He's a damn better arm than Tua.
Damn better?
Yes.
You're just being rude to him.
I think that's why I said. I think I said Tua has one of the worst arms in the NFL.
You know what's funny?
I think that's what it was.
You know what's really funny
Listen, Joe
about
Burrow's
this?
better than Tua. Yes, at this point in time, no doubt.
You know what's
I have a
funny
long career.
about this is that, you made that Big Ben and Eli comparison. I actually think that pertains more to Burrow versus Herbert than it ever would to Burrow versus Tua. Burrow has won 3 playoff games already. I'm not even sure if Tua can win a playoff
so
game.
Phillip Rivers-
He's stunk it up in every single big game.
I
he's
mean,
played.
bro, you said he could be Jimmy G. Jimmy G won a lot of playoff games.
Yeah,
to
but
be
like
fair.
you have to be in the perfect.
All right, so
perfect
you know what?
situation.
You know what?
I agree.
Fine.
I agree.
So Phillip Rivers, right, the odd man out, even though that's he was the number 2 overall quarterback, right? Let's say that that's the case. There's been times where even Phillip Rivers would push that envelope of both of these guys being better than both of them. So again, there's a long career ahead. All right. Joe Burrow has a clear edge, where
We
even
got
to the
some
point
time.
where he thinks that he's
So
better
what
than
year?
Herbert.
Like, are we gonna be in like year 6 and you're gonna be like, we still okay?
Year 6, it'll be pretty clear and obvious. But at this point in time, the situations are night and day.
I'm just curious, like what year 4?
I'll give you a 6 is fine with me.
6 years.
Six-
That's all you need to like to be like.
I mean, that's the number you gave me. I in my head, I
No,
said,
dude, 3 is good.
I don't think
so
I need
next year?
6
That's
years to
annoying.
know if one quarterback's better than the other.
That takes time.
I feel like you could tell within a couple seasons,
You
bro.
can tell within year 4 is where you stop and you say, "Nah, this is who this guy is."
You see special quick.
year
Very
4,
quick
year
for
4,
players.
you already know this is who this guy is, bro.
Just the trajectory on where Joe Burrow's career is going right now. He just made it to the Super Bowl in year 2, right? His trajectory is already insane.
Like all of the best quarterbacks outside of Josh Allen, who's just an anomaly, has showed year 1, year 2 special traits.